Welcome back to the Matter of Facts podcast on the Prepper Broadcasting Network. We talk prepping, guns, and politics every week on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. Go check out our content at mwfpodcast.com on Facebook or Instagram. You can support us via Patreon or by checking out our affiliate partners. I'm your host, Phil Rabalais, and my co-host, Andrew Bobo, is on the other side of the mic, and here's your show. Welcome back to Matter of Facts podcast. There are no banners today. This is going to be a nice, lighthearted show, hopefully, maybe. We have Jay Ferg from Phoenix Survival joining me and Andrew, and the topic of the show is finding balance. Because recently, Andrew and I had a personal discussion that got me thinking about, like burnout and what happens when adulting gets to the best of us. And when you add, like the focal point of the show has always been preparedness and prepared citizens. And when you add that on top of just regular 9-to-5 adulting and dealing with kids and spouses and PTA meetings and all that crap, then you get into a situation where like it's really, really easy for a person to get just completely down in a rut, overwhelmed, always thinking about, the next thing to get to on the to-do list. And I have personally felt, and I suspect everybody has personally felt, that wear them down to a nub. So I thought that bore discussing today because, everything that we do here is in the name of being able to care for ourselves and our families. But if it grinds us down into the dust, we're not able to do that. So I have spoken for 2 minutes straight. Somebody needs to tell me to shut up and what do y'all think?
No, this softer, kinder side of Phil is kind of cute.
My wife and daughter would agree with you. They're usually the only ones that get to see it. But I mean, it bears pointing out. Like I've been Andrew knows I was the show we did just a couple of days ago where I was like, oh, I feel like I'm having an allergy attack. No, it was not an allergy attack. It was a sinus infection because the next morning I was like down for the count. I put in about 5 hours of work, and then I had to take the rest of the day off. I took a nap in the middle of the day, which I never do. And I was goofed up. Like Dayquil is a hell of a drug. I don't understand how Dayquil and NyQuil are not controlled substances, but cocaine is, because I was high as a kite off of Dayquil and NyQuil. And
it's not the same chemical component. I can tell you exactly what's in each of those medications.
Yeah, well, all I know is the end effect was I would not have trusted myself to operate heavy machinery in the state I was in. But it was one of those things where like my wife and I we were discussing it not 3 minutes before I sat down with y'all. And this morning last night I told her, hey, before you and Piper head out the door, wake me up because I wanted to say goodbye to him for the day. And I woke up at 8:30 and the house was empty. And I was like, nobody woke me up. What the hell? So she and I were talking about it, and she was like, well, you were snoring. You were tired. You needed your sleep. And I'm like, I didn't need my sleep. I was fine. I needed to wake up and say
your delirium.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where like I happily admit that there is a large component of my personality, and I couldn't tell you if it stems from like my time as a combat veteran, if it stems from like my personality as a prepper, if it's just like part of being dad and husband. But like I don't know how to downshift. I don't know how to, I'm going to take it easy, or I'm not going to work on something today. I don't know how to do that. It's constant go, 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 go.
It's kind of, I'm the same way. I think it comes back to that old saying, the idle hands are the devil's playground. So we grew up in a generation where idleness is laziness. Mm-hmm. And to feel like you're even being remotely lazy means you're not getting anything done. So for me, it's the same way. Like Chris will laugh at me because he's like, can't you sit down and watch a movie? And I'm like, no. Not very well. I really can't. I can't sit still. So I'm sewing or crocheting or in the garden or cooking or cleaning or something because I cannot sit still. Cannot.
What about you, Andrew? Is this three-way Venn diagram like hitting a center point for you, or are you the rare exception out of the three of us that can like type B personality and just take a personal day?
Well, I just woke up.
No, he's the odd one out of three. 1 out of 3.
Oh no, I mean, I get it. I understand, and you're constantly going. I mean, when it comes to work, when it comes to my full-time job, yeah, I mean, I'm constantly going. It's always usually pretty busy. I mean, picking up overtime, I mean, just working 2, 3 weeks in a row, just trying to, just basically not having any time. I work, I come home, I sleep, I wake up, work,
Rinse and repeat.
sleep. Yeah. And lately, with the new job, like the job shift that I've had, now I can't pick up overtime. So I got more downtime, and so it's been a change. But like today, I mean, was it yesterday? I did some running around, mowed the lawn, did a bunch of stuff around the house. Today, I just woke up, and it was one of those things where, like, I mean, I woke up at, I don't know, 9 o'clock or 8:30 or whatever it was, and I'm like, today is going to be a day where I do nothing. And it's been kind of a dreary day out a little bit. It's been raining. I mean, it's spring, so it's in Michigan here. Springtime is usually where I mean, it freaking rains all the time. And so, like, I was thinking, I'm like, I'll go camping, and then tomorrow I actually have to meet up with some family for a memorial. And so I'm like, well, I could go camping. Okay, well, I could go. I'd have to be up and out of the campsite by like around 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna relax. Well, I ended up sitting there just kind of chilling, and yeah, I fell asleep on the couch, and I woke up and I'm like, oh, it's 5:45. So but no, I mean,
I wish I knew what that was like.
single. I mean, single, no kids, I guess.
Also, working second, but for context, you work second shift. So, like,
Yeah.
Right.
you have to arrange I guess what I want to tell the listenership is like to understand what he's saying, you have to arrange your work day 8 hours later in the day than most of us work to understand how to equate that to, normal people.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
mean, I
still
did.
are you
Oh,
still
go ahead.
doing the other on the side, or was it EMS firefighter? What was it?
No, I was doing firefighter on the side a few years ago, but since I quit doing that, and then I moved. When I bought my house, I moved, and I haven't picked up the fire side of it anymore. Um, so no, so it's just basically, yeah, working security supervisor now. And um, so I mean, I had some administrative stuff I had to take care of on, being day off and stuff like that. I had to get some stuff in for the guys and everything. But I mean, so I did. It was like 30 minutes of work really. But no, yeah, it's interesting. I don't mind going hard and not taking time off, and doing it. But at the same time, when it comes down to a day of relaxing, I I mean, I'm, like I said, I'm single. I have no kids. I really don't have any pressing matters going on. So it's just like, if it's not going to happen, if something's that I don't need to do, if it means relaxing, then yeah. I mean, if someone calls and says, hey, can you come, want to hang out or do whatever, then yeah, by all means, I'm going to do it. Get out of the house and stuff. But at the same time, it's just like, I'm completely okay with being a homebody, and that's and that's honestly like, and that's funny because in my dating profile I put that. I said I like being active, I like getting out, but I'm okay with being a homebody.
So wait. Where can the listeners find you if they're looking for a homebody?
Grinder.
Oh.
Do that one out there.
I thought you had your girlfriend from the jail place.
Nah, I found the website where you can actually write inmates.
No, Andrew. Times are hard, but they're not that bad.
No, but all seriousness aside, man, I guess what I think about though is like the fact that, like, yeah, you have that mindset where you're able to just like take a day and be lazy and not feel like a complete douche canoe afterwards, which I am still trying to work on. But at the same time, that day in, day out, I go to work, I'm a homebody. That can be dangerous too, because
Well, yeah.
I've said this before, and it always sounds weird saying it on the podcast, but like, I am an extraordinary introvert, which most people find very, very shocking because, Andrew and I have been podcasting for about 8 years now. Like, I've been in content. I've had my face on the internet for 8 years. So when I talk about how, oh yeah, I'm a major introvert, like I'm very private, I'm very quiet, I don't like being out in public, I don't like going out around a lot of people, people are shocked because they're like, but you've been showing your face on the internet for 8 years. And I'm like, but I'm only ever talking to like one or two people. So as long as I keep that in my headspace, I'm okay with it. But like when I go to prepper camp, Gillian knows that as soon as I get in the truck on my way home, I need that 12 hours to decompress because as much as I love meeting people, it drains me. By the time I get done with all that, I am emotionally exhausted. I've been keyed up and had the dial turned to 11 for 3 days straight, and I am ready to be by myself for a couple of hours.
I mean,
And
yeah.
So I think that's where I'm a little opposite of you is I work remote from home now. So I'm not on my feet 24/7. So as soon as I get off the computer, I don't want to sit down anymore. After sitting for as long as I have all day, not including the overtime, I will go out for a hike. Usually after work, I actually will take the stroller and my son and I will walk almost 2 miles around the neighborhood and then come back before I start my evening with the cooking, the cleaning, whatever. Because I'm going to be honest with you, being trapped in the house from 9 to 5 all week drives me stir crazy that Chris works out of the home. So when he comes home, he wants to sit down and decompress. I need to get out of the house because I'm going stir crazy.
Well, the house is turned. The house. I mean, working from home has helped a lot of people, especially from COVID and stuff like that. But when your home turns into your office for 8 hours of the day, I mean, like you need to get out of the office. Just so
Right. Well,
go,
that's
like,
kind of like
I need to get out of the office. I need to get out of the house. I just need to do something.
And that's why I'll go for walks. I
Mhm.
spend the rest of my evening in the garden or working with the chickens and playing with my son outside just so I do not have, because this bedroom is my office space. So until I have to actually go to sleep, and sometimes we don't even sleep in the bedroom just because I'm like, I don't want to go back upstairs. All right, not a problem. We've got a huge, comfortable couch. I will fall asleep right there and not give two shits.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, but that's the thing is like, talking about ruts and stuff like that and routines really. I mean, a routine isn't a terrible thing to have, but like what Phil and I were talking about yesterday, texting back and forth is a rut. And so, yeah, I mean, I like relaxing. I like kind of having a day off where I just don't do a single thing. I might sit on the porch and smoke a few cigars, but that's about it. I mean, but at the same time though, is that can be dangerous because if it goes into, okay, now instead of work sleep repeat, it's like, okay, work sleep repeat for your days on, and then your days off you just sit around the house and do nothing. That still is not a very good thing. I mean, that's kind of why I built my truck out with my thought process of building the truck like I did, where I can just throw my electric cooler in and maybe a couple change of clothes, and I can just get on the road and go somewhere, to interrupt that rut, to get out of that routine, that bad routine of, okay, I'm just going to go home and then my days off, I'm going to sit at home and I'm going to do nothing. Like, I mean, try to get out and do something, even if it's going out in the woods and
So
for 2 days
for
by
us,
myself.
we do the same, but I end up going down to the beach. There's a few private beaches. I will load up Jericho. Chris will sometimes come with if he wants to. If he doesn't, no big deal. I actually carry my go bag and then my carrying harness that Rick and Jane gave me. And so I'll wear him and walk down the beach and we'll walk and just get out of the house. We'll go down the trails, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing because I mean it breaks up that routine, that daily. I mean, I guess whatever you want to call it, routine. It breaks it up. So relaxing isn't a bad thing. Going, balls to the wall. I mean, all the time. You're going to burn yourself out, but you can also burn yourself out by laziness too, in a way. I mean, I know a lot of people around the world do it, but and are pretty good at it, being that they leech off the government. But that's a different show. But for those of us,
I may need you on my podcast in the morning if you're not working, because I definitely got some horrible stuff I'm covering.
For those of us that are used to just working a lot and putting in the hours and then not having a day off, I mean, you got to change that. And so you got to be able to kind of relax and sit down and smoke a cigar, have a beer. If you don't, just sit down and just relax, take a breath, and recharge.
So I think that's for me. Is you say sit down and relax. That is one of my vices. Is I like to have a cigar every now and then. So I will sit down. I will go outside and I'll sit and right next to our little fire pit. I'll smoke a cigar and get to enjoy the evening outside till it cools down. That's probably the only time I'm not as active.
But that's fine though. That's the time. Like that's
Hi, Gillian.
That's what it takes for you to kind of just I don't want to say unwind, but it's that time is like it might not happen every single day or do it all the time, but it's that one thing that you do different is just that's what gets you out of like that routine, gets you out of that rut, to kind of get your mind shifted into a different direction, just thinking different and everything. So,
I-
but
But
no,
sometimes having projects helps too,
yeah,
though. Having something outside of your regular routine. Like for
yeah,
me, I do have my sewing projects I'm doing. I have my drop bags, and then I'm working on a messenger bag. And it's just things to keep me busy without feeling like I'm being idle. And it doesn't take away from the everyday chores I have to do, but it
mhm,
gives me something that if I want to lose myself for the next 6 hours, nobody, Chris, nobody's going to say anything because they understand I kind of need that to drown myself into to break up the monotony of everything else.
I guess my
Oh, see,
question though,
Kyle uses y'all's podcast to relax. Poor thing.
I know,
poor
right? I
thing.
can't see how it
Sorry,
toss
Phil.
the screen, toss the phone across the room.
I guess my whole thought process though is that like understanding that like some people thrive on routine and they need routine to find their center. Some people routine can be toxic to them because they fall into a rut. They get into a habit that kind of saps like all the joy out of life. Some people, if they don't get that time to relax, that harms them. And some people, if they don't feel like they've done enough in a day, that harms them. So where's like in the middle of this Venn diagram where these two circles come together? Like, how do we help people figure out? Like, I feel like most people can figure out their own personality type. Like, it shouldn't take a ton of introspective thought to look at your habits and say, okay, I'm a type A, I'm a type B, I work a lot, I don't work a lot. But how do we help people find that middle ground where they recognize for themselves, I need this is what my reset button is, and this is how I know I need to punch it. Like for me, I like Gillian knows, and it drives her nuts. But I do the flight of the bumblebee routine every afternoon. As soon as I punch out of work, usually 3:30, it's do laundry, do dishes, cook dinner. Hit the reloading bench, work on a project. I'm always doing stuff, so my reset button is pretty easy to figure out. Every now and then, I just need
Hmm.
to be lazy. This is why I enjoy camping so much because when I go camping, it's
It's like a vacation from everything else.
but here's the trick, and this drives my wife nuts. My vacation doesn't start until the truck is empty and the campsite is set up. Like
That makes sense,
as soon
though.
as there's stuff, as long as there's a task, like if I'm getting stuff out of the truck, getting stuff off the roof, we're setting up the tent, we're setting
Mhm.
up the cots, we're doing all that stuff. As soon as everything's done, and I pop open the lawn chair and I pull out the box of cigars,
It's
now my
vacation.
vacation started. Because
I
now
I get
there's
that.
nothing to do except brew coffee and make dinner and just
I
relax.
love you, Gillian, but I think that's how my mind works too. Is once the tasks get done, then it's break time. I love
Yeah.
you, Gillian. She's gonna be like, "Oh Lord,"
Well, but
but
that's the thing though is when
Look,
you go
I mean,
camping.
she knows her husband. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead, Andrew.
I
Well,
felt that eye roll.
yeah, no, but when you go camping, I mean, that's the thing is you don't want to sit there and pop the chair and sit down and relax because especially prepper camp because after you drive 12 to 14 hours like what we do, you don't want to you don't want to get there, pop the camping chair and then sit your butt down, smoke a cigar because you're not going to get back up. And
No,
you're gonna sit there, and then you're gonna have that looming over you of like, crap. I still have to unpack the truck. I still have to set up the tent. I still have to do this and this and this, like that. And so like getting to the campsite, setting stuff up, and then finally saying, okay, now I can relax. Like that's just something that so you can actually turn your brain off from those tasks. But that's also why I got the tent that I did because my setup time is basically going to be cut in half.
It's like
well,
two
and that's
minutes.
that's
And
what we had. I copied Willow when she had the immediate pop up tent. Now James has one until mine broke, which then we realized we needed a bigger one. Anyways, that was perfect because all I had to do is literally open it out of its little turtle bag, throw it down, and pop, unset the spikes, and that was all. Yeah, I love you, Gillian. There's nothing wrong with that. For those of you who can't see in the chat, she said, I'll pop the chair and sit and watch Phil unload. That is accurate. I have seen that, but we always show up a day earlier, so we get to also watch you run around.
But see, here's the weird thing though, is that even the way Andrew just said that, like, oh, there's a task to do before I can unwind. I don't look at the task and say, oh, I have to unload the truck before I can take a break. To me, it's
It's
like,
kind of
no, I want to unload the truck and I
right.
want to set all the
I'm not
stuff up.
saying it's
I
a
want,
bad thing. It's just, but if you sat down, I know you enough to where if you sat down before you did that, you wouldn't be able to get your mind off it
I
until you did it.
no,
I
and
think
that,
it's because Phil and I are
but that,
task-oriented individuals.
but there it is.
It's
And y'all
we are
both,
task-oriented.
yeah, y'all both just said the same thing. If I sit down and
Yeah.
take that 10-minute break, my mind is going to be just churning on, I need to get the truck
Mm-hmm.
unloaded. I need to get the truck unloaded. And I can't stop. I have to just get the task done, and then I can take a break.
But that's not a bad thing either, because it's you have a task, so then afterwards is the reward. And so that's the kind of thing that, like at prepper camp again, or just camping in general, you get to the site, you unpack, you do everything, you get all the tasks done, you get ready to go, and now you can sit down and you're like, okay, my reward is a glass of whiskey and a cigar. Now I can
But
relax and can do
but
this.
herein comes the problem. What happens when I have tasks I could be doing, but I know deep down inside I need to rest. But I don't want to rest because I have tasks I could be working on. But the task really could wait till later, and it's not like it's going to be the end of the world. But I can't, I have trouble getting my mind off of it because I think that task still needs to get done right now. That is my version of my personal hell, is that I have this personality where I'm constantly like chomping at the bit for the next thing to get done.
You're kind of in a
And
battle with yourself over it. I've done the same
yes,
thing. That luckily I have a partner who goes, just hit it tomorrow, and it does eat at me. But being able to sit down or try to sit down, yeah, that is a struggle on its own. I get it.
yeah,
There's
it's
only so many hours in the day, so it's like you gotta pick your battles when it comes to certain things, and
Well,
that's
so
where
okay, so this is what drives me insane. I don't know how y'all are. I've from moving from Arkansas, Mississippi to the East Coast has been a slap in the face for how my internal clock works. I'm used to things opening up by 7 or 8, being able to get everything done first thing in the morning and going. So luckily, all the grocery stores open around 6:30 to 7 a.m., so I can still get my grocery shopping on the weekends done. Um, I love you, Gillian.
my wife.
But my issue is out on the East Coast, nothing opens till 10 o'clock on Saturdays or throughout the week. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and then on weekends, some things don't open till noon. Which for me, if my day isn't already going before 10 o'clock, my whole day is ruined because I'm so task oriented that I'm up by 6:37 every single day. So then I have 30 minutes to an hour before work where I get to sit and scroll for a little bit because I've already done the dishes. I've already got a load of laundry going. I've already let the chickens out and checked their water and their feed. That if my day starts later than that, it knocks off my entire day. I don't know if you both are like that. Well, I know Andrew's.
well, I
Well,
mean, no, I get what you're saying, but the thing is though is, yeah, stores don't open till 9, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever.
Well, doctor's
But
offices don't either. I'm that
yeah,
person who I want to get my appointments done like that. So the fact I have a doctor's office who will work with getting my son in at 8 a.m. is a feat in its own because nothing opens till 9 o'clock as far as doctor's offices. My day
yeah,
starts at 9.
yeah, but I mean that's the thing is, I guess if you got enough tasks that you do everything in the one day to where, all right, well, this store doesn't open up until this time. Okay, I'll hit it this time, and I don't know. That's the way
Mm-hmm.
my brain works. Is I'll sit there and be like, okay, I need to go here. Well, it doesn't open until this time. All right, well, what can I do then? Okay,
You're
this is what I need
too
to do.
laid back. I'm already keyed
Well,
up thinking about how you're saying
but
that.
that's but that's the thing though, is what the thing is, I mean, that's their hours for the business. They're not gonna change for me, and I'm not gonna expect them to. And when they open, I'll get there.
so
So
then So then what
you
I'm
know,
hearing is that Andrew and myself and Jordan are like kind of extreme opposite ends of the spectrum, but I feel like we all fight with the same problem because Andrew, like you've said in the course of this conversation, like what trips you up is sometimes is your proclivity maybe for I'm just gonna take a day off and be lazy, but then that also causes you to kind of be a shut in. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of being able to go out, do things, get out, and talk to people, and have a little bit of social interaction, being a homebody can hurt you in some ways.
Well, yeah,
And then
because on
for
But
my
getting
day
me,
out
off,
too much
sitting
can
there.
hurt you too, because I've done
Oh, yeah.
that where I've gone out. I've enjoyed being out so much that when I got home, I still had everything I still needed to do.
Right. And I get my thing is always like I'll make plans or I'll sit there. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go do this, this, and this. And then the day of, I'm like, I don't really have to do that. Like I don't really have to go to the this brewery that I've been planning on for like the last month. I've been like, I'm like I don't need to go there because one, it's like I look at my finances and I'm like, well, I'm not hurting, but I don't feel like spending that money, or I'm just like, I'll spend it somewhere else, or I don't really feel like talking or seeing anybody today. So I'm just gonna like I don't want to go talk to anybody. Like I don't want to say a single word to anybody today. So I'll just I'll stay shut in, and that's not necessarily the best thing to do. I mean, humans, we're social creatures to a point to where we do need some social interaction. I mean, to a little bit of a point, but yeah, it's just you got to find that balance. You got to find that. Well, okay, you know what? This my last couple of days off. I didn't do a single thing. I got to be motivated my next time. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is like I'm working on my porch. Well, I did not do a single thing on these last 2 days off. I didn't do a single thing with my porch. Well, next time I'm like, okay, I need to sit down. I need to start
Do I
sanding.
need to be that annoying friend? Dude, fix your porch. Like, I mean, I have a friend, a girlfriend, I text her and every day, drink water.
Drink
Like,
water.
I'm literally telling her every few hours to drink water. I mean, I'm that friend. If you need me to be on your butt about it, I'll send you a text and be like, dude, fix that porch.
I might block your number.
Good
But
luck.
no. I mean, it's just it's just one of those things where I'm like, all right, I need to stay. Because my next step, and that's the thing is like I'm thinking about my next steps for remodeling the porch. All right, the next steps is okay. I got the crappy outdoor carpet pulled up now. Okay, now I got all the stupid staples pulled up from the board. All right, now what's the next step? Well, I'm redoing the whole porch, so I need to start pulling down some siding and everything like that. So I'm just, in my head, I'm like, okay, what can I do with all this? So yeah, I mean, having tasks being task oriented is definitely not a bad thing.
but
But
now you have a deadline because Nick said he's coming to inspect your work.
well,
For the listeners,
Poor thing.
Nick Emrickson said, "Bro, best fix your porch before I get up there in a couple of
Okay,
months."
so I have a question for both of y'all. I don't know if I'm the only one who does this, but I end up putting a lot of tasks at hand that I end up I have these all over the place.
Oh,
I have a
sticky
whiteboard
notes.
on my refrigerator
yeah,
and downstairs. Like that is something that I do is I notate, okay, I need to put a link. Oh, okay, I need to reach out to Yana with Roven Blue. Oh, I need to make sure I have my drop bags to show. Like, do you do the same thing?
yeah, yeah. No, I do the exact same thing because especially at work, just being in the position that I am now, I found that if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget it. And so I've been writing down so much. I've been making checklists all the time now at work. And honestly, I need to bring that into personal life too, just because of the fact that it's like yesterday I had some stuff I needed to get done. And I got everything done I wanted to, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, I need to do this, this, and this. And then I get done doing one thing. I'm like, oh crap, what was that one? What was the last thing I wanted to get? The store. It's like, hey, I need to go grocery shopping. And I'm thinking, okay, I need to get this, this, and
Don't
this. I'm
tell me you
thinking,
don't make a grocery list.
no, I do, and that's what I've been starting to do. That's what I've been doing. Is like if I don't make a grocery list, I'll go in there and I've been trying to. My biggest thing is make the grocery list and stick to it. Don't divert off of it.
No,
So
don't ever go hungry. You're
no,
gonna find that you are the worst at grocery shopping if you're going while hungry
oh no, I'm not
because
the worst at
everything
grocery
looks
shopping
delicious.
because
I
I
am.
buy a lot.
If
No,
I'm
I buy a lot.
hungry,
No,
if
I'm
I'm
saying
hungry, I'm in more trouble.
yeah. No, if I go and I'm hungry, it's like you know what, tacos tonight. Nope, you know what, pizza tonight. I'll do tacos
Right.
tomorrow
Oh,
night.
you know what? I need chips and dip as well, and then I need this.
Nope. No, and that's where like if when I go, no, I usually do a list just because it's like all right, I need whatever it is like, and I'll think of different meals and stuff like that. And but lately I've been putting off grocery shopping, so just because I hate grocery shopping, so
Well,
I've
why
been
don't you do
gaining a
the
lot of benefit
click
lately.
and pick up one?
Yeah, I could do that. mean, I have no excuse of why I haven't. I just don't.
But Andrew, there are single females inside the grocery store. So if you go
Yeah.
into the store and do grocery shopping,
It's not like the old day. It's not like the older days where you could. It was normal for picking up a female or a date at a grocery store. I don't know. I feel like now you might get pepper sprayed.
I think it's all on your approach.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't be
No.
weird.
I mean, have you met us?
I mean,
Yeah,
do y'all not know me?
Yeah.
Don't try weird lines like, man, that's some good corn on the cob. Nope. Man, I'm pepper sprayed.
I'm gonna use that on my wife, and I'm gonna get.
Oh
the
my
weirdest
God.
look.
Always hot ladies at Kroger's and Target, depending on what time, Kyle Wilson. Elsewise, you're getting the grannies.
Nah, but I think also what I think about when I talk about finding balance is like I can remember a time in my career where I worked in a very different position, and I was basically like by myself for. Don't walk up. Hold on a second. I gotta put this up because Gillian's saying, "Don't walk up to her while she is checking out the melons and tell her she's got some good ones there." Gillian, that might come up in conversation the next time we're in the store together.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Just walk
Do
up
not
to her
do
like
it,
you're a total
Andrew.
stranger. Walk up. This is your challenge, Phil. In the middle of the store, just walk away and then give it a few minutes and walk back, and then like you're a total stranger and be like, "Ma'am, those are some nice melons you got there."
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm actually tearing up on this one thinking about Andrew actually trying to say something like that.
Anyway.
Oh,
I
Andrew, if you ever get the balls to do it, you got to tell me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
I don't want to get pepper sprayed.
But like I was saying, I think back to a time in my career where like I used to spend like basically an 8 to 9 hour day, and I was in a room full of people, but I was basically by myself. I was in a job where I didn't have to spend a lot of my day like meeting with and communicate with others. I was given my work and I was allowed to do it, and it was, quite frankly, it was lots of like really nerdy math and spreadsheet crap. Stuff that for me was not difficult because I'm a spreadsheet math nerd. But it was one of those situations where like I could spend a 9 hour day with my brain basically at idle and just do my job, and it didn't tax me a lot. It didn't push me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't stressful. I could literally, that was back when I used to listen to like, I don't know, 7 or 8 different podcasts at a time, because I'd literally just dial one up, put my earbuds in, and I'd start working, and that was my day. I was left alone to do something that was very easy for me. And at that time, I was constantly looking for things to get into. So that's when I picked up Reloading. That's when I started co-hosting another podcast. That's when I wrote my book. That's when I was doing YouTube content. And I was constantly doing these other things because I was so bored at work. I was so full of energy when I got done. And then I transitioned into a career path that is like part project management. So I'm constantly in meetings. I'm constantly talking to people. We're constantly having very contentious discussions about projects and negotiating things. And I finish off a day and I am exhausted. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to deal with anybody. Like Gillian knows when she hits the front door what kind of day I had. Because I either look like I've been beat within an inch of my life, or I look like I'm, a reasonably well-adjusted human being. But it really is just, it's a job that drains me. It has given me the ability to provide for my family much better, which is why I tolerate it, but it's an emotionally draining job. And as a result, all the extra stuff I used to get into and all the extra hobbies I used to have, I've had to discontinue a lot of them because I just don't have the energy left. So like me finding balance between my work and my personal life, I've really heavily transitioned away from, I'm involved in all these extra things because I have this extra energy to burn off, to I know I have to spend more time resting. I know I have to spend more time by myself. I have less energy to put into these extra endeavors. I just don't have it anymore. I am notorious for trying to pour from an empty cup, and my wife is notorious for reminding me that I can't, even though I debate that. But like, I my personal version of finding balance has always been whatever work takes away from me is I try to find a way to replenish. So like if I'm working indoors and I'm staring at a laptop for 9 hours, when I'm off, I want to go outside. I want to get some fresh air. I want to get some sunshine. I don't want to sit in this house all day or all weekend long. But on the flip side of things, my wife works as a teacher, so she's surrounded by like 100 screeching little, ankle biters all day long. And when it comes time for her weekend, she does not want to be around anybody. She wants peace and quiet and a recliner and a book.
I
And
get it.
that's the
Chris
balance.
Chris drives all day long cleaning pools. So when he gets home, he wants to chill. And then on the weekends, he really doesn't want to drive. So he gets to be the passenger princess while I drive because I'm trapped at my desk at home all day. And real quick, I have to make a comment on Nicholas. He said it would be a hard no if to Kyle and Wilson's comment about us creating Andrew a dating profile. One, it would be dangerous if Gilly and I created one for Andrew. And two, I unfortunately on that last comment, I've always been the aggressor with every guy I've ever been with. So there's no telling how Andrew's profile would turn out with both me and Gilly and Green.
It would be interesting for sure.
Oh God, Andrew, I wouldn't wish that on you.
I'm not giving you guys my passwords.
It's all right. It's probably the same one you've always used.
Password.
1, 2, 3, 4 star.
Bobo 1234.
It's not far off.
Gotta be
No.
character in there too. Don't forget. But
he likes to use the $sign instead of the star. It makes him feel like a big man.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying, Andrew?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
No, it's just all about balance. I mean, that's the thing is, and that's what's nice about Jordan, like you and Chris, he doesn't want to drive, so on the weekends you do. Like that's a great.
Yeah, I don't mind. I enjoy driving, and it's bad enough I'm going to have to make a 12.5-hour drive next weekend.
Hmm.
Where are you going next weekend?
I got to get the kids.
Oh. Yeah, 12.5 hours. Yeah, that's
So it's going to be more than that. It's 11.5 one way, so it's going to be a full day's drive there and back.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, you could. I mean, I don't know how the weather is down there right now, but you could always throw in some camping and stuff like that. Break up the days of it, but
usually audiobooks. That's probably one of my things that I use to unwind. I don't know if either of y'all do when I'm cooking or cleaning, or I know it's something monotonous that I have to get done and I'm just not feeling it. I will put on an audiobook just so I have something to break it up, or even listen to some music on the drive, or whatever I'm doing.
I listen to audiobooks all the time, and I actually listen to audiobooks more than I listen to music now. It's when I drive, it's usually always audiobooks, but there's a couple of days like the last couple of days have been about 70 degrees, like really nice weather. When it's not raining, it's been pretty nice out.
That's cool weather.
So, yeah, right. No, it's perfect, man. But instead of audiobooks, I'll roll the windows down and blare some music, just because one, you can't hear the audiobook that well, so why listen to it? But I'll play music and stuff like that. But no, having that reset it's important. I mean, for some people, it's just simply just relaxing, having a day off or whatever. Other people, it's, I don't know. I mean, but again, like that's kind of why going back to the truck and stuff, that's why I kind of tried to outfit it the way I did, was just so I can load up and go. And that's my goal this summer, is to try to do that more often, to break up that routine, break up that rut that, I might fall into, and just break up that and just try to recharge different ways, find something else to do. In the process, you might find, you might make new friends in the process, and, you never know what you're going to run into. So, it's hopefully it's got, it's all got a plan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Part of the reason I brought this topic up in the first place was because, like, specific to the preparedness community, like so much of what we talk about when we're having a serious moment is things like OODA loop and watching your surroundings and situational awareness and all these things that sound like hell on earth to the average person, because they interpret that as, well, you're always worried about something. You're always keyed up. You're always looking for a threat. And to a degree, we kind of are. But I bring this up in that vein because that constant assessing a threat, working on preps, assess a threat, working on preps, that constant cycle in the preparedness community can burn people out too. And my
Well,
worry is that I personally have seen people kind of like they've shelved the preparedness lifestyle because it burnt them out. It ate at them. It was too much constant work and too much constant, not even, it's not even like the physical work all the time. Sometimes it really is just the emotional, psychological, I'm always worried about stuff. So
mhm.
I've always tried to encourage people, like when I talk about being able to do anything long term and sustainable, like you have to, you at a certain point, and this is something that I preach whenever we talk about finances. Like years ago, Gillian and I had a discussion about finances and budgeting and all that nerdy crap nobody cares about. But I pointed out to her, I'm like, if you want to get your nails done, then you just put money in the budget every month to get your nails done. And the money's there, go spend it guilt free, go do it. It's there. So I always tell people, I'm like, when you look at, like in my personal finances, and I have all these things that are prepper related that I'd like to get done eventually. But that it's not like I have to get through the whole list before we can finally have some fun. Interspersed in there some places, okay, well, this thing's going to come down the list because I got to fit in a vacation here, and this thing's got to come down the list because I got to fit in a vacation here because my wife and daughter will murder me if I don't take them out to the beach this summer. So like, you have to you have to budget some time to decompress and not have another task to do. You have to budget some money to go out and have some fun and live life along the way. Like
Yeah.
we can't go to our grave constantly chomping at the bit for the next project and chomping at the bit for the next bucket of rice and beans and chomping at the bit for the next case of ammo. Like we have to have some fun every now and then.
Well,
And
Right.
for me, part of what helps me find that balance point is the fact that a lot of things that are prepper related, I'm using air quotes around that, quite frankly, are hobbies to me. Like I enjoy going to the gun range. There is no work involved in me reloading ammo and going to the gun range. I enjoy every moment of
Well,
it. Every
it
hour I spend
shouldn't
in the
be stressful though. It shouldn't. Prepping for us, it shouldn't. It's a good balance. For me, it's no different than the rest of my entire day. And if prepping is stressful, then there's something off there.
yeah, and I mean, but that's the thing though, is like if you're the days off, like days that you might just relax and not do much of anything. I mean, pick up. There's been times where I've read some articles. I've read articles. I've watched some YouTube videos on something preparedness related, like it, not burning out. It's the stuff I just actually yesterday after I got my truck looked at. Uh, I stopped at Sierra Trading Outpost, I think it is, or something like that, and then REI. And I was just looking around I'm like, you know what, with the truck, I'm like, I need to get some utensils. I need to get some stuff for the kitchen. Like I want to build out so I can go to cooking and stuff like that. So I went through, bought some stuff, repacked the drawer system, and did everything. The nice thing about if you buy like camping related items or even if it's like prepper related items, and again, I guess prepper in air quotes, if you buy some of these items like a new piece of gear, if you can take it out in the woods and test it out, that can be wrapped up in your vacation. You have all these supplies and you're like, all right, cool. Well, I have these 4 new pieces of gear. Let's do a camping trip, and then I'm going to test these out, and like I want to get used to using them, and and see how well they work. And so so that's the fun part of it too, and get out and using your gear. But yeah, I mean that's you know prepping. We don't want to, the whole thing with people prepping, the whole big worry. I guess that's where I've been living my life, to where it's yeah, I mean, Kyle, you're exactly right, and that's what
for the audio listeners, we have to read the comment.
oh yeah, sorry.
I
Right.
get beat up. I get beat up every time I don't do that.
So yeah, so anyway,
Kyle,
Kyle said, I think prepping can be stressful if you constantly watch the news. It's easy to get sucked into the fear and drama, which
And
is
that is
that.
100% accurate. And
Mhm.
that's what you're seeing even now. Prepping should not be something of fear and drama. It is to be ready for anything that could be thrown at you. So you don't have to have that level of fear for something that, may or may not even possibly happen. That's the point of prepping, is to make sure we are able to feed and protect our family. We are able to pick ourselves back up if our house gets knocked down, for whatever situation. It should not I don't watch the media more than, I mean, I know what's going on currently, but I don't sit there and pay attention. I'll real quick chime in, see what's going on. Elsewise, I don't give two additional glances at what's going on just because I don't have the time emotionally, mentally, or physically to deal with everything else other than what I am trying to do and control my own life. I don't need the added stress. It's not worth it.
Well, no, it's not worth it. But the other thing too is I don't know. I don't know. It's been a number of years now, but I picked up the 3-foot world concept, and the idea that basically, you know, if it's not within your immediate 3-foot world, meaning like how far you're within your reach, what you can actually physically manipulate. And if it doesn't affect me, I've really gotten to the point where I just don't let it bother me. I mean, I know, apparently, according to our, amazing U.S. government that never lies to its people, Russia used chemicals on Ukraine. And I've read articles and I've seen some things that people are freaking losing their mind about it. They're losing their mind about China and over Taiwan, and they're losing their mind about all
Look
kinds
what's
of
going on at the college campuses who kids are being pro Hamas, not even realizing what they're chanting is calling for terrorism itself being, and now the federal law that passed for anti-Semitic language being allowed whatsoever, and then which cuts into a lot of things, not trying to be anti-Semitic, but it cuts into the history of things, like even biblical wise, that makes it illegal to even mention. But on top of that, you've got these people who are pro-Hamas, who are chanting for terrorism, now being anti-Semitic. Hitler would be rolling over in his grave with pride with just how bad things have gotten just on U.S. soil alone. It's absurd. Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's
sorry, I
but
didn't
that's
mean to
where
take it out.
no, you're fine. No, but that's where like I practice. It's like the 3-foot rule, because the 3-foot world is because the fact that crap, like, yeah, the what Congress passes, like, that does have it does have somewhat of an effect on the American people, especially if I don't know, if you get slapped with
Ole
charges
Miss is having that going on.
huh?
Kyle
Sorry, I didn't
saying
mean to.
Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU.
Ole Miss, and I
Oh,
I
yeah.
lived not even 20 minutes from Ole Miss, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a second, I'll have to reach out and find out some stuff from over there.
But that's the
Right.
thing, though, is like this stuff, really, where I live right now, a lot of this stuff has no direct impact to me. So, like, I'm not going to worry about the kids that are burning down their college and they're messing their college up and doing all kinds of crap. You know what, like that, and it's not even, and that's the thing, though, is they're agitators. They're paid agitators who they found that a lot of the people that were there, they don't even go to that college. They were bussed in.
Well, no, but they're also running into the fact that a lot of those kids, the reason they don't want media there, social media or any sort of media there, is because these kids are getting caught and are being suspended. And so they think, the ones who are the students think that as long as no one sees it's them, there are no consequences to their actions. And they're finding out the old adage, there are consequences to everything you do.
Now, that's
So if
like,
you're going to act like an idiot, you should be treated like an idiot.
Yeah, correct. But that's a whole different show. But that's the thing, though, is what's happening to them. Like, hey, that's great. I'm happy that they're getting unmasked and all that crap. But, like, again, that's a different show. But right. I'm saying, like, what's going on there compared to where I live, it has nothing. I have no control over it, so I'm not letting it bother me. Now,
it has no direct impact. In other words,
yeah. And so what I'm doing is, I might be buying some more ammo, or I might be packing up some more food, or doing something else. But that's my daily thing. My daily thing is, okay, I'm either buying maybe buying some ammo, buying some more food, reading on something as far as prepping related, buying some gear for my truck, figuring out. I'm figuring out where I want to go camping here in a few weeks. Like, I'm not changing my routine because of what's going on at these colleges and universities. Like, what's going on sucks, because there's a lot more things happening underneath that people aren't even seeing or they even care about. But at the same time, it does not affect me. My 3-foot world does not include that crap. Like, it doesn't. So I'm not letting it bother me. And that's where I think a lot of people, when it comes to preparedness and stuff like that, just prepare for just a power outage, prepare for something that could physically affect you here, and and just move on with it, and don't let things bother you. I used to get tied up I used to see news articles constantly, and I would freaking worry all the time about it. I would lose sleep over news articles about certain things. And finally I realized this, like I came across
Mhm.
this edit, that the rule there, and I'm like, the stress that after not letting things bother me that I have no control over, like the whole thing with I mean the some of the doomsday crap out there, like the movies out there, like, oh man, there's gonna be a comet that's gonna hit Earth. You know what? If it does, it does. Like, I'm sorry, like it sucks. At the end of the day, that does suck a lot, but I can't sit there and be like, no comment, don't you dare. No, I'm gonna keep
Well,
like
there's certain things, if it does happen, there's nothing that we can do in
right.
any level of preparedness that's really going to protect us, especially in a situation like that. So there's no point in
But that's what I'm
adding
saying though, is
something
there
into your fear bank.
right, no,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying though, is that like there's no
Yeah.
reason for it to affect me and control my life when I literally cannot do anything about it and stuff. So yeah, I guess that's my big thing with trying to talk to people is and tell people, stop letting things worry about, or, stop letting things control your life that you have zero effect on. Like if you physically cannot change all this stuff, so stop worrying about it. Worry about what you can physically change and what you can physically grab. If you have a child that's sick, like that's, as a parent, I mean, I'm not a parent, but as a child that's sick, like that's within your 3 foot world. You can take care of your child. You can take care of that. Now the child getting better, like, yeah, that's depending on medications and what's going on and all that crap. I mean, some of that is out of your control. It's hard not to worry about it, but it's out of your control. You gotta, it's hard to not to worry. But yeah, it's just stop fear mongering.
I think for me, and this is like Andrew and I have, I don't want to say fought over, but he has he has had to deal with the fact that like I am a bit of a type A worrywart, and my personality tends to, I don't want to say obsess, but I tend to become very concerned about things and I can't let go of it. And
Well,
I
you
have had,
hyperfixate.
yeah, and I have had, and I this is something that I recognized in myself back in my 20s. I mean, I came to terms with this when I deployed to Iraq. Is I have to look at the situation, and then, like to Andrew's point about if you have a sick kid at home, you can influence the trajectory of how that kid gets better, but there's a certain amount of it you can't influence. Some of it's just going to take as long as it takes. So I've had to develop this personality where I say, these are the strings I can pull on to influence the trajectory of the situation and the way I want it to go. And these are the strings I can't pull. I can't reach them. And I have to make peace with the fact that these are the things I can do, and after I've done those things, I have to let go. I have to emotionally let go and not obsess over, well, if I could do this, it'd make things better. If I could do this, it'd make things better, because I can't do those things. So, like, again, part of finding balance for me has been I look for those things I have some amount of control over, and I work my butt off to make sure those things have been dealt with. I have a life insurance policy. I put money away in the savings, money away in the 401k. I do everything I can to prepare my family for the worst days of our lives. But after I've done all those things, I'm not going to continue to obsessively worry about it. I'm not going to sit there and worry about, like, I've been watching some of the local news channels and they're anticipating a very spicy hurricane season. I live on the Gulf Coast. So is that concerning to me? Hell yeah, it is. Anybody that's like, it wasn't but a couple of years ago Hurricane Ida wiped out 5 zip codes down here. Like, another bad hurricane
Hmm.
season is very alarming to me. But I've done everything I can think of to get my family ready for it. I've got one other project to get done before hurricane season starts, so I'm running out of time. But once I've done all those things, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm going to assess the situation. I'm going to do what I think is right. I'm going to take care of my family. So like
See,
part
that's
of
kind of like
part of me
me. I
finding
have,
balance in between this type A worry wart and a healthy amount of attention being paid that I can sustain without driving myself nuts is I have to say these are the things I have control over. These are the things I don't have control over. And I have to let all these things go. And to Andrew's point about the 3 foot world, these are the things inside of 3 feet. And I'm going to make damn good sure I nail them down.
I get it. as like hurricane season's hitting for us, we have a fireplace that has been removed, so we can't use it because, landlords want to make sure it's not up to par with insurance or whatever. So now we have to look at secondary meat sources for cooking and everything else. So we do have a fire pit outside, but if we lose power and outside's like crap, then how are we supposed to go outside to cook? So I'm actually looking at, they have a little, almost like the little camping stove we use when we go out to prepper camp, but they have it built where you can use a big propane tank for a kitchenette oven set. And it's like $200 even. So I'm trying to sell a few of my dump bags or save up enough so I can go ahead and invest in that and then don't feel like I've used any additional expenditure from our way of living to pay for an emergency setup that we can take with us when we camp or use for any situation here if the tornadoes or hurricanes hit us as hard as they, like you said, they're saying it's going to be nasty this year.
Yeah. And unfortunately, like we all know when it comes to like tornadoes, just the last couple of weeks have been really, really spicy up in the
I
Midwest.
have been watching, even though I no longer live in that region, I have been watching it because regardless of the fact I don't live there, I do have family and loved ones there. But anything that hits y'all hits us in a day or two afterwards. So I'm always watching to see how bad you're getting hit because it doesn't always die down by the time it hits us. Sometimes it'll re-pick up back speed once it hits part of South Carolina. So it's the same for me as I watch it because if y'all are getting hit that hard now, there's no telling how hard the season's really going to hit once it hits us.
Yeah. But like we were talking about a minute ago, like that's the hard part is that it is so incredibly easy to fall into. I call it fear porn. You know what I'm saying? Like because we all know how the mainstream media works. Their whole job is to outrage or scare the hell out of you because the longer you watch, the more you click, the more money they make. So they figured out that OODA loop a long time ago, and that's what they're always throwing up in front of you is what outrages you and what scares you. And I have to make a conscious effort to not allow myself to fall into that because it's just not healthy. So that's what I always tell people is I'm like, you cannot exist in a state of constant worry. You have to you have to be able to like flip the channel. I'm gonna say that the happiest moment of my life is when we got rid of our satellite high TV subscription in this house. There's no news. There's none of that nonsense. It's all streaming. It's what we choose to expose ourselves to. I intentionally limit my news consumption. It has been so freaking peaceful, by the way.
Right. No, I agree with you. Like the only thing like that had me a little up was the whole Title IX thing.
Yeah.
So that just means more awareness on my end for my daughters.
Yeah. Well, and I guess what I'm saying is that there's a healthy balance of look out on the horizon so that you can be aware of things, but then also realize like, can I stop the way that politics is flowing? Not really.
No.
So then be aware of it, but don't, I guess.
Right. And that was my whole thing is I'm not going to sit there and worry about it 24/7, but it doesn't mean now knowing what's going on with Title IX doesn't mean I can't be more vigilant to those situations where I may be out in public and with my daughters trying to use a public restroom and a man walks in. So it's just, stay strapped. It's no different than, okay, I had a situation. I actually thought of you, Phil, the other day. I knock out my grocery shopping early. I was able to run without having to take my son. And as I'm getting out of the car at the Kroger here, I see a woman loading up her two littles. And I mean littles. And I'm carrying. And anytime I'm going anywhere, I'm strapped. And I pull out of my vehicle. She's parked right in front of me. I'm right behind her, pulled up behind. I get out and I sit on the hood of my car or lean on it and said, I'm just going to stand here and watch out for you, because she had loaded one child into the car, had to leave one baby still in the cart. Single mom doing this by herself. So I told her I'm standing here. She goes, thank you. I appreciate it. She goes, normally I come to this strapped. And I thought of a situation you had mentioned with your daughter when she was little. And I lifted up the corner of my shirt and said, don't worry, I am. I said, she goes, no, I appreciate it. She goes, you wouldn't believe how many people won't look out for each other anymore. So it's the same thing of being vigilant wherever you go, Even if you're not prepared for yourself, you can at least be prepared for somebody else.
Yeah. Well, we're right up on about an hour. So, in an effort to not allow this to go to 2, I mean, is there anything else we throw in here talking about finding balance? I mean, I feel like, for purely for mental health reasons, I think it's really important that everybody tries to find a balance point in their life. Like whether we're talking about type A task driven and not knowing how to decompress, or a person being very type B and trying to fight against not getting things done because they're spending too much time relaxing, or a person that's too introverted or too extroverted or too worried or too laid back. Like, no matter where we take that conversation or no matter who we apply it to, I feel like it's just super, super important that everybody finds a
An
balance point in
outlet.
their life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how about I
Well,
send you a coloring book and some crayons?
but here's the
It
thing.
works, though. It works.
You say an outlet, and an outlet for a type A personality is what's needed, but for a type B personality, sometimes what they need is a schedule or a checklist or
And
something to
I'm type
keep them
A.
moving. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like no matter who we're applying this to, I feel like it's super important that everybody finds their balance point in their life so that they're getting things done, but they're not grinding themselves to nothing. Because the one thing that has worried me about very close friends for years is if you get too isolated, that will eat at you. If you spend too much time without time to yourself, it can eat at you. Like I worry about the people around me because I know that if I were left to my own devices, I would work myself into an early grave. I
Mhm.
have that personality. I'm a workaholic. I hate taking time off. But I have someone in my life who tells me, dummy, sit down and take it easy today. I have that person who's my reality check, but not everybody does. So that's why I thought this would be a good conversation just to talk about, like, if no matter which one of those people you are, you need that person or that thing or that mechanism in your life that brings you back to the center. Hallelujah, amen.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jordan, thanks for joining us as I bore the crap out of everybody with all my
No, it's
philosophy.
fine. Well, Kyle was right. Adult coloring books are. They have adult coloring books at work. I
Adult
actually had a
coloring
friend who
books are
sent
a
me some.
thing.
Yes, I actually had a girlfriend send me one years ago because she said that I needed to find something that wasn't task driven so I could decompress. And I have some Doctor Who books.
I don't know how to react to adult coloring books.
I'm going to send you one. They actually have some that have adult words in it. Like fuck, shit, like all that. It's phenomenal. I'm going to
Well, I
order
get to
you one
mark
and
this
send it to
episode
you.
explicit now.
Oh, my bad.
I'll just keep it
I
out.
already cussed earlier, so I think that already set you at explicit.
Damn it, Jordan.
Is there a way you can beat this out when
I mean, if you can beep it, I'm sorry, man. You should warn me at the beginning. I have a potty mouth. You know this.
Don't I ever?
I mean,
All right. Well, if anybody was watching the stream and had kids around, I apologize. But otherwise,
exactly. I'm releasing stress. Kyle gets it. He's got my back.
Yeah. Okay, now Kyle has to supervise 1,000 women a day. That's a man that needs to release stress.
See, I was construction for quite a while.
So you supervise 1,000 men a day.
Yeah. Now I deal with a bunch of angry patients, and I promise you, some of their language is worse than mine.
I bet. So everybody knows where to find Andrew. Andrew, we haven't talked about your YouTube channel in a while, so remind everybody about that. It's, huh?
We don't have to.
Okay, fine.
Oh, you got your own YouTube now?
Yeah, what's that? It's called Bobo Fett's Misadventures.
Bobo Fett's?
Bobo Fett's Misadventures.
Is that wait? That's what you changed your Instagram to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, ladies.
Yeah. Find me.
Has truck will travel.
Has truck will travel.
Wait. So does that mean now you're going to drive to the south?
I mean, I'm going to South Carolina or North Carolina for prepper camp.
You're coming to South Carolina. Come on, buddy.
And you're also coming to Tennessee.
Yeah, going to Tennessee. So
Wait,
maybe
what weekend is that in Tennessee?
we'll talk about it off show. But
Yeah, because there may be some changes on my end. I might be able to make it. It just all depends how this next week goes.
I hear you.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here. But no, Bobo Fett's Misadventures on YouTube and Instagram. So hopefully I can get some more content out here shortly.
And Jordan,
where can they find you, Miss Jordan?
Right now, it's Phoenix Survival on Instagram. I actually need to get my YouTube and everything fixed up. I've been just streaming on Insta and TikTok.
And you're also on the Prepper Broadcasting Network.
I am on Prepper Broadcasting Network. And I'm sorry, I have to show this real quick because Kyle has been begging for pictures for the drop bags for like the last week. Do you care if I
go for it?
All right. So, oh no, it's blurred. How do I remove the blur?
You have to take the blur off of your virtual background.
How do I do that?
Go to settings. I guess we don't have time.
No, I can do it real quick. Here it is. Okay, I see it. Let's see. Nope, it won't let me do it. Drag gum. Sorry, Kyle. I will make sure I post something on. I'll do it on my Instagram. But I have the drop bags I've been making, and I've already sent out a couple, and he was asking to see them, and
Well, Kyle can find them on your Instagram. But
yeah, I'll put up a video on there.
All right. Well, I'm going to punt this one out the door so I can go eat beans and rice with my wife and daughter. But Matter of Facts podcast heading out the door with Phoenix Survival. Check her out on Instagram and Tumblr, you said?
No.
Instagram.
Just say Instagram.
Just Instagram and Prepper Broadcasting Network. And talk to you on another week. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.